Syndicate agents have access to a very large variety of weapons, tools, and, well, basically etc. type of gear. Now, I will cover every single item in the entire game available to the Syndicate agents in this video. I'm going to go through every single category from top to bottom. The first weapon available to a Syndicate agent is the Surplus Rifle, a bolt-action service rifle that has seen many wars. It, in short, is a terrible weapon. It sports 10 bullets, it has a fire rate of 0.8, and shoots 30 rifle. It is semi-auto, and you used to have to bolt it, but as of right now it's currently semi-automatic. Either way, the time to kill on this weapon against an unarmored target is very slow. But it is only one Teller crystal. And yeah, the fact that it is only one Teller crystal means that there probably is some point where you can use this, but you're not going to be killing very many people. If anyone, it's more of just a tool to threaten people with. The next weapon is the Energy Dagger, a small energy blade conveniently disguised in the form of a pen. It costs 2 Teller crystals. It comes in this E-Dagger box. If you put it in your hand and press Z, the box goes away and it becomes a pen with no description other than the default pen. If you put it in your hand and press Z, it will turn on. It is not all that loud. It does 9 slash and 9 heat. It is actually a pretty deadly little weapon. It also attacks decently fast, and due to how direct hits work, you can almost crit somebody in 4 hits. If there are certain species like a slime, you actually will crit them in 4 hits, but that's neither here nor there. For 2 telecrystals, it is very concealable. You can actually take your pen slot out of your... You can take the pen out of your PDA and put it in there and hide it. There's a lot of ways to use this item. The Viper. A small, easily concealable but somewhat underpowered gun, retrofitted with a fully automatic receiver. Costs 3 telecrystals. When you buy it, it comes unbolted, so you must hover over it and press E to bolt it. Now you're ready to fire. To change it to fully automatic, you right-click it, and then there will be a change to full auto option. It shoots 6 bullets a second, which is very fast. It will dump its entire magazine in less than 2 seconds. And due to that, it does a lot of... It has a rather good DPS. Each bullet does 16 damage. The Cobra. Rugged, robust operator handgun with inbuilt suppressor, uses pistol magazines that are 25 caseless. It is a gun that basically has 0 audio. The impact sounds of the bullets are actually significantly louder, and it shoots caseless bullets, meaning that, well, they're caseless. There's no evidence that you left behind anything. Or the bullets actually do 19 damage a shot, so it's actually a very hard-hitting gun. The Energy Sword. Very dangerous energy sword that can reflect shots, can be stored in pockets when turned off, makes a lot of noise when turned on. So, it will be purchased in your hand. It will look like that. Very loud and dangerous. If you don't... You can put it in your pocket as long as it's not turned on. It's a rather small item. To turn it on, you just put it in your hand and press Z. And the Energy Sword does 15 slash 15 heat and some structural. It is a very formidable weapon. It attacks very fast. And obviously the wide swing is about the same. Damage is a tiny bit misleading here because this is a structure, so it does the extra structure damage to it. But it is incredibly loud. It instantly outs you as a Syndicate. It gives off light, so you can't use it stealthily in like a dark area. But there's really no other melee weapon in the game like it. It is incredibly powerful. And as mentioned in the description, it can also reflect bullets and lasers. Albeit, it's not that common to reflect bullets, but it can, and that gives it just another edge as to why it is a very powerful weapon. The Python. A brutally simple, effective, and loud Syndicate revolver. It costs 8 telecrystals. It shoots 2 bullets a second, uses 45 Magnum. Due to its high price and not that incredible of damage, also the fact that it's a revolver, meaning that it doesn't have the convenience of magazines, it isn't all that common due to it. However, it comes with armor-piercing bullets. Armor-piercing bullets avoid all armor, so that means it'll take 4 shots to kill a person that is naked, and it'll take 4 shots to kill a Death Squad member. So, it's a very situational gun due to this, because the time to kill on a naked person is 4 seconds if you hit every shot. which isn't really all that good compared to the other guns, but a time to kill of 4 seconds on a death squad is incredibly good, so it's very, very situational. Gloves of the North Star is an 8-tailor crystal purchase, a pair of gloves that reduces your punching cooldown drastically, allowing you to beat people to death in a flurry of punches. They are not a weapon. They do indeed take a glove slot. They have this blue and white sprite. A minor feature of them is you can set your battle cry, which will state a statement every time you swing with them. They do 7 damage. I think this got reduced to 6 literally as I'm making this, but either way, they do that much damage, and they do let you attack incredibly fast. And due to the fact that they're a glove slot, means that even if you get disarmed or you get stunned and don't get cuffed, you will always have a strong weapon available. The Disposable Ballistic turret is an 8-tailor crystal purchase, looks and functions like a normal electrical box, but turns into a turret when you hit it. So yeah, it literally spawns with the tools like an electrical toolbox, but as soon as you punch it, it will immediately begin firing upon anyone that is not considered a Syndicate agent and shoot them until they are crit, not dead. If you get a screwdriver, you can actually pack it back up, and you can repair it with a wrench. Fire Axe. Classic style weapon infused with advanced MS technology allowed to set targets on fire. Costs 10 teller crystals. The Fire Axe one-handed stats are 5 blunt, 13 slash, so it's not even that bad of a melee weapon, and 7 structural. However, the Fire Axe becomes a real monster if you two-hand it. If you two-hand it, it goes up to 7.5 blunt, 23 slash, and 67 structural. You can absolutely annihilate windows, walls, whatever you want. Also, the fact that it sets people on fire means that the slash damage doesn't really make you bleed, but you'll burn, so unless you're fighting in space, that is a pretty important benefit for combat. So not only does this thing tear through anything with ease, it can also rip up floor tiles. And what that means is that you can actually space areas nearly instantly with it, and unlimited because, well, unless you lose the axe, you can just tear up the floor anywhere you're at very quickly. The infamous double-bladed energy sword. Much more expensive than a normal energy sword with a higher reflection chance, larger attack angle, higher structural damage, faster swing, but with less damage. It comes in this handle form, and just like the other energy weapons, you press Z to turn it on. It will automatically wield it in both hands. It does indeed do less damage, only 9 slash and heat, but it does a lot of structural, so again, you can tear through things like windows, grills, whatever, rather quickly. It attacks extraordinarily fast, and has a pretty, I'll call it a jank hitbox. There is no reason I should be hitting that target, so it's kind of misleading how far you can actually hit people with it. And doing the wide swing doesn't seem to do structural damage, so I will just call it a very jank weapon because of that. The reflect chance on the double-bladed energy sword is incredibly good, though. First bullet reflects, and the reflection rate is somewhere around 50%. I don't know the exact number, but it makes you a lot tankier than not having it, obviously, and makes you really good at range fights. I'll speed through the ammo section because, well, it's just ammo. The descriptions are very direct. They tell you exactly which ammo they go for. The descriptions of the ammos are very direct. They tell you exactly what gun they go to. But from left to right, left is the Mosin, or the surplus rifle. It's a box of 50 bullets. So for 2 telecrystals, you can get 60 bullets and a gun. But the gun, remember, is not that strong. The Viper is a 1 telecrystal purchase. They are 10-round mags. Cobra, same thing, 1 telecrystal purchase, 10-round mags. The Hristrov, which wasn't in the weapons category because you can't buy it individually, you could buy 10 bullets for 2 TC. And the Python, you could buy 6 bullets for 2 TC as well. The Explosives tab. The cheapest thing you can purchase is a Flashbang. Don't even need the description. It's just a security flashbang. You put it in your hand, press C, and you can throw it or keep it in your hand, and it will blind and basically slow anyone that does not have eye protection that was within its explosion radius. The EMP Grenade. It is a grenade designed to disrupt electronic systems used for disrupting communications, securities, weapons, and APCs. If I go over to somewhere that has Like, we'll just go into medical. If I toss an EMP in here, and just say happens to be a stun baton on the ground of the full battery, you just put the EMP grenade on the ground, remember you arm it with Z, it will destroy everything that has a charged battery in it. It'll make machines overload and just start spitting things out. It empties the APCs, it drained the stun baton's batteries. In this case, it probably even disabled the defibrillator. In this case, it probably even disabled the defibrillators, but this might be slightly out of range. But yeah, not too complicated. It will also prevent things like disablers and stuff being used, and it will drain laser weapons batteries. The Whitehole Grenade is a grenade that repulses everything around it for about 10 seconds. Let's see if they even fixed it. You press Z to activate it. Yeah, it does not work at the moment, but it's supposed to blow everything away from it. Explosive Grenade. Simplistic grenade with a 10-second fuse that is geared towards hurting personnel, not with minimal hull damage. Well, it is rather good at doing that, and it also does not really cause hull damage. You can't change the timer, so you just get the grenade, press C, and you can either drop it or throw it. It makes 1 or 2 distinct beeping sounds before exploding, and it has a pretty large explosion radius and will absolutely murder anyone that does not have explosive resistance. It actually didn't kill this person, but it does a ton of damage still. And yeah, it looks like they were like 1 damage. Oh no, they're still breathing. C4. Use it to breach walls, airlocks, sabotage equipment, attach to almost any object, modifiable timer with a minimal setting of 10 seconds. So you can buy it, and if you right click it, that's how you can set the timer. You can also set it to auto activate. So what that means is if you get something like a remote signaler and a multi-tool, it allows you to hook them together. So when you press the remote signaler, it will detonate the C4, for example. So I could just turn that on, but no longer automatically place when planted. So I could set it up to this window. You start planting the bomb. You could also just press Z and leave it on the floor. Now that the C4 is hooked up, if I just take out the remote signaler and press it, it will instantly detonate the C4, and it destroys reinforced walls with ease. The Exploding Pen. Class 4 explosive pen that comes with a 4-second fuse. It comes in an Exploding Pen box, but if you press Z and open it, it has the same description as every other pen in the game, which is a normal description. But if you press Z, it will arm it with no audio, and I will walk away. It has a small explosion, does not do nearly as much damage as a explosive grenade, but there's no indicator that it's a bomb. And you can also stick it in things like PDAs or just leave it on the ground. There's a decent chance somebody might even pick it up, and they'll have no idea it's an explosive unless they try to activate it and kill themselves. The Grenade Penguin. Small, highly aggressive penguin with a grenade strapped around its neck. This thing is incredibly powerful. It will only attack people that are not Syndicate agents. So if I spawn a non-Syndicate agent, it'll immediately start biting them. However, it will not explode unless it dies or you activate it. So if I just pull this lizard over here, if you press E to activate the penguin, it will start a 10-second timer. And as soon as that timer is up, it will explode. You can hear it count down. But the Grenade Penguin's explosion is actually rather large. But the problem is, if you activate it, there's a decent chance that it will explode not on your target because it's on a timer. So mobs try to kite left and right, or like away from the target. So if you do it that way, you might not end up bombing your target. But if you don't activate it, it may not blow up. The Minibomb might be the most infamous bomb in Space Station. Low yield, high impact precision sabotage with a 5-second fuse, perfect for destroying machine or body. The Minibomb has a 5-second fuse. You press C to activate it. It does a very distinct sound. But if somebody is near it without explosion resistance, it will straight up gib them, and it will create a large hole in wherever it explodes at. The Supermatter Grenade. Grenade that stimulates the elimination of a supermatter engine, generates a powerful gravity well, explosion comparable to a mini bomb. I believe this is also another grenade that doesn't work, but I'll still try it. Yeah. Both the Supermatter Grenades do not work. They still have cool audio, though. Well, I lied. It does work, only the explosion part. And it doesn't seem to gib or have as big of an explosion, despite the description saying it does. The last thing in the explosive tab is easy to figure out. It is a C4 bundle. Costs 20 TC, but it gives you 8 C4 at a discount, because normally they're 4 each. So you basically get 3 C4 for free. And it comes with a large duffel bag that will out you because it's a Syndicate bag, but that one is pretty self-explanatory. The Cybersun Pen. The 1 telecrystal purchase, Cybersun's legal department's pen smells vaguely of hard light and war profiteering. For 1 telecrystal is actually a pretty formidable weapon. It does 15 piercing damage. It doesn't really like attack any faster, but it doesn't attack slow. And piercing is a good damage type because it causes bleeding more so than something like blunt. Since it's also a pen, you can also put in your PDA, for example, but it isn't disguised, so if somebody sees you with it, I doubt they'll perma you. There's actually a few ways of obtaining this pen without being a Syndicate anyway, but it's still a pretty dangerous weapon for what it is. Soap. Syndicate soap is a pretty simple item. It is soap, you step on it, you slip, and you stay stunned longer than you would with a normal bar of soap, and it has a Cindy insignia on it. The Decoy nuclear disc is a 1 telecrystal purchase. It looks identical to the nuke disc, has the same description, but pinpointers won't point to it because, well, it's a fake disc. This is really more so used for trolling than anything, but I have actually seen it used once or twice to fool a captain that wasn't paying attention to where the real disc was. Syndicate Smokes Packet. Elite cigarettes for elite agents infused with medicine. It is a 2 telecrystal purchase. It comes in this red packet. Inside there are 5 cigarettes. Each one of these cigarettes has 30 units of omnizine, which is a medicine that heals basically everything and can't OD on it. You can smoke it in order to heal, but you will be smoking it for a long time. An alternative option is you can stick it in a material reclaimer and get the omnizine directly. However, though, the cigarettes themselves are unmarked, so you could just buy the cigarettes and put them in your pocket or put them in your backpack and ditch the packet, and no one will be the wiser. Extra Bright Lantern, 2 telecrystal purchase. It is essentially a normal lantern that flashbangs you when you turn it on. It has 15 charges, and you can actually use it like a light source that's also really bright. So it's a really good light source that is a flasher with more charge. It isn't descriptive, so it looks like a normal lantern, but the problem is it has the charge indicator on it, so anyone who's a little more meta inclined will know it's a Syndicate item. The Lobbying Bundle, 4 telecrystal purchase, heartfelt gift that can help you sway someone's opinion, real or counterfeit. Inside of it, all it is a brown briefcase that has $5,000. However, it has real sunglasses, which sunglasses make you immune to flashes, which is pretty useful. But it is indeed 4 telecrystals, so it's a pretty expensive purchase for sunglasses. Combat Medipen, single-use Medipen containing chemicals that regenerate most types of damage. Inside of this is 25 units of omnizine and 5 units of tranacid. Tranacid stops bleeding, omnizine heals basically everything, so you can just buy it, press E to inject yourself, and it'll keep you in pretty much any fight longer. Rather powerful for its price. The Syndicate Segway. Be an enemy of the corporation style. You purchase it, it'll spawn an airtight box, funnily enough, I guess they don't want the Segway to suffocate. That inside has a Syndicate Segway and the keys for it. Put the keys in, drag yourself onto it. It is actually rather fast, it turns pretty sharply. Has a funny little horn, and almost even looks like a blood red helmet from the side profile. Make sure you take the keys out though before you get off of it, or somebody's going to steal it, and it pretty much makes you valid instantly anyway. Nocturine Bottle. Nocturine Bottle. Chemical that makes it very hard for your target to stand up. On its own, it is not all that useful. If you can't insta-inject it, it's pretty much impossible to make anyone drink enough of it to actually make them fall asleep. But if you were to get somebody to... If you were to somehow manage to force-feed somebody 2 sips of it, once they start metabolizing it, they will fall asleep. That's pretty much its only usage outside of it. Or you could try to syringe somebody with it, but with just the bottle, your only option is to actually force-feed somebody it. And when they get enough units of it in their body, they will fall asleep. Like so. The Combat Medical Kit. Medkit made for fixing combat injuries. Inside the Combat Medical Kit is a ton of medical options. Inside you'll have a health analyzer, medicated sutures, regenerative mesh, a brute auto-injector and a burn auto-injector, an anti-poison Medipen, a bottle, a syringe of ephedrine, and a blood pack, and as well as a full syringe of tranacid. Inside these injectors is the brute injector has 15 units of bicaridine, 5 units of tranacid to stop bleeding and heal you quite a lot. Inside the burn auto is 10 units of dermaline and 10 units of leprosine to help with cold. Inside the anti-poison pen is 10 units of ultravasculine and epinephrine, And Ultravasculine is rather powerful. These are all auto-injectors, so if you just pick up press E, it'll inject every single unit instantly. The Bicardine actually does overdose you a tiny bit, but it's not a big deal. And the rest of it is just incredibly good medicine. Ephedrine makes you recover from stuns faster and run faster, and the rest is self-explanatory. Very solid 5 crystal purchase. Energy Shield. Exotic energy shield that reflects almost all laser beams, as well as little protection from bullets and other physical attacks. Purchase it, you put it in your hand. Like other energy weapons and tools, you can put it in your pocket as long as it isn't on, but if you press E, it will turn on. It blocks 50% of incoming damage. It takes 100% blunt, meaning that it doesn't resist it. Takes 90% slash, 85% piercing, but only 60% heat. You can also anchor yourself in place like any other shield. Anchoring yourself with the energy shield increases the resistances further. It'll make the shield take all of the damage, for example, but actually makes you take more blunt damage, interestingly, but it gives a flat damage reduction to heat and piercing. The reflection on the shield is rather incredible. So if I put on something like a web vest, the energy shield doesn't reflect normal bullets, but it reflects lasers rather well. If I just show you, it's actually guaranteed to reflect lasers. So as long as it is in your hand, you're basically immune to laser weaponry, and that includes things like disablers. So security loses out on one of the easiest ways they have of disabling people. And just to further show you how good this thing is that if it is reflecting damage, the shield itself actually doesn't take any damage from the laser, so you can never get through it with laser weaponry. You'd have to shoot them. And the shield is very tanky, so more often than not, the user will probably end up dying before the shield does, or it'll be very close. It is incredibly strong for the price. The Stimpack is an 8 crystal purchase. Injecting yourself with this will increase your run speed and let you recover from stuns faster. A hidden description is it actually doubles your stamina as well. So you run incredibly fast, and you gain double the stamina, so it will take 4 hits of the stun baton to stun myself rather than 2, and you recover from stuns nearly instantly, so there is no chance you can get cuffed while on stimulants, but you have limited time. And then finally, the final item in the miscellaneous tab is the Stim Kit. Medkit with 6 stimulant microejectors, each give you enough for 15 seconds. Just like the Stim Kit, they're smaller versions that give you less time, only about 15 seconds, but overall it gives you more time if you pop them all, but don't pop them all at once. You're going to want to probably spread them out. Now we move on to the bundles. The cheapest bundle in the game is the Electrical Disruptor Kit. For 6 telecrystals, ultimate reversal of energy-based weaponry, comes with 3 EMP grenades and an EMP implanter. Inside, there is indeed the 3 EMP grenades and the EMP implanter. I've already showed the EMP grenade, but I'll show the implanter. The implanter, you just inject yourself with it. It is instant, and then you can just ditch a syringe. On the side, you'll have an action that looks like an EMP grenade. It says activate EMP, and it will disable electrical devices in a very close range around you. The range is rather small with the implanter, like about 2 or 3 tiles away. And it's really good, though, if you're fighting somebody with sun batons, for example. Next up is the Sniper Bundle. Inconspicuous briefcase that contains a Hristov, 10 spare bullets, and a disguise. It comes in a brown briefcase, so it is inconspicuous. Inside, you have the Hristov, an ammo box, red tie, latex gloves, and a black lawyer suit. Hristov is a weapon that shoots 0.8 shots a second, has 5 shots. It does not really do that much damage. It does 40 pierce a shot, but it doesn't shoot very fast. And the benefit, though, is that it does structural. And interestingly enough, this gun used to be armor piercing, but now it is no longer armor piercing. But for 12 crystals, you get 15 shots for it. It's not bad, especially like if you're fighting people that aren't armored, funnily enough. It's not really good against people with bulletproof armor, but either way, it is still a cool bundle. Next up is the C-20 Bundle. Faithful C-20 submachine gun, 17 telecrystal, comes with 3 total magazines. It comes with this red duffel bag. Inside is a C-20 with 2 extra mags with 1 already in it. You just pop the bolt on it, like so, and it shoots 8 bullets a second, very fast fire rate. Each bullet does 16 damage, and it has a cool feature where when you empty the mag, which I'll show you, it will beep and automatically inject the empty mag, making it just a little bit faster reloading than most guns in the game. The Bulldog Bundle. Lean, mean, contains a popular Bulldog shotgun, 12-gauge beanbag drum, and 3 lethal drums. The Bulldog has an incredibly good DPS. It shoots 2 bullets a second, or 2 shells. Each shell does 72 damage total, so if you're in shotgun range, it's also fully automatic, by the way. That's a ton of damage very quickly. And if you take the lethal out, you can actually put beanbags in, and beanbags will 2-shot stun anyone. That's not in stims, at least. And it's incredibly fast, so it's a 1-second stun. And it's a long stun. So you have a lot of versatility with the Bulldog Bundle, a lot of damage, and in general, it's just a very easy to use weapon, because dealing with the magazines of a Bulldog is simple. A Surplus Crate. Contains 50 telecrystals worth of completely random Syndicate items. It can be really good or junk. You purchase it, it will drop a crate right where you're standing. And if you open it, you'll have 50 telecrystals of stuff inside. And it can range from totally good, totally bad. One really interesting thing, which you might notice instantly, is that it can contain job-specific things. The rigged boxing gloves, the cap gun, and the hollow clown box are all job-specific. So due to that, you can get some really powerful combos. Because like the cap gun is extraordinarily strong, the rigged boxing gloves are extraordinarily strong. Hollow clown box is a free backup. Even comes with the EMP Implanter, a Cybersun Pen. And like this is just one example. I could roll forever, but you'll most likely get a better experience yourself if you roll it. There's even a stealth box, which I didn't see in there. The China Lake Bundle, 25 telecrystal grenade launcher. Purchases it and puts in your hand immediately. It comes with the China Lake. It comes with 4 additional frag rounds, 4 additional blast grenades, and inside are extra frag grenades. The frag grenades have a massive AoE, which I will show you. So if I just shoot it once, gigantic explosion, but it doesn't do too much damage. But the blast rounds do a ton of damage, but have a smaller AoE. Very, very fun weapon. It is a pump action 3-shot grenade launcher. The L6 Saw Bundle. More DACA, iconic L6 light machine gun with 2 box magazines. Comes in another duffel bag like everything else. Inside is the L6 Saw and the L6 magazine box, additional box. You drop the bolt on it. It does 8 bullets a second, but each bullet does 17 damage. The L6 Saw can be wielded in 2 hands, which is pretty unique. If you try to shoot it one-handed, it is incredibly inaccurate. With 2 hands, which you can 2-hand by pressing Z, it becomes more usable, but don't expect much accuracy past anything a few tiles away. But having 100 bullets in a gun means that you're more so concerned about volume, not accuracy. Finally, the most expensive thing in the bundles is the Super Surplus Crate. The Super Surplus Crate is 125 telecrystals for 40, so it's a better deal than the normal Surplus. You can get some incredibly broken stuff out of this, but the thing is you need a Syndicate friend in order to deliver it to you. And, I mean, I'm not going to explain everything in here, but as you can see, there is just... I mean, there's an L6 Saw in it. There's a ton of potentially good items you can get out of this, and you're going to want to share, because you can't possibly use this all yourself. We're on to the tools category. The Syndicate Jaws of Life. Combined prying and cutting tool, user for entering the station or its departments. 2 telecrystals, it will put the Syndicate Jaws of Life in your hand. It does 14 blunt, so it's not a terrible melee weapon. By default, it's a crowbar. If you press Z, it's also a wire cutter. The thing that's really good about the Syndicate Jaws of Life is that it lets you get into places you wouldn't have access to. So if I just right-click this door that I don't have access to, I can pry it open. It takes a second or two, but it's still rather fast. It's probably fast. I mean, it's faster than hacking. And it's different than the normal Jaws of Life. It only weighs 35, so you can actually put it in your backpack. If I try to do a normal Jaws of Life, I cannot. Next up is the Syndicate Toolbox. Full complement of tools for the mechanically inclined trader. It is an incredibly good weapon. It does 20 damage of swing, a blunt damage. It is really good at giving. Inside there's a full utility belt with a multi-tool. A Syndicate gas mask, which makes you immune to stuns, and it's a it makes you immune to flashes, and it's a gas mask. And combat gloves, which makes you immune to electrified grills indoors. Extraordinarily good purchase for 2 telecrystals. Next is a Dehydrated Space Carp, 3 telecrystals. On its own, it doesn't do anything. If you pick it up and press Z, you'll pet it. And, little head, if you pick it up and pet it, it'll become an ally to you. And if you just dump some water on it, from like a water cup, it will wake up and start attacking anything that did not pet it. A surgical duffel bag. A large duffel bag containing a full suit of surgical tools. This is largely useless. The advanced scalpel is a decent melee weapon. The advanced circular saw is definitely the best melee weapon in here. It only weighs 5, and it does 5 damage of each melee category, blunt, slash, and piercing. It also attacks pretty quick. So, it's an okay melee weapon, but for 4 telecrystals, there's just better options out there. This will probably be more useful when surgery is actually implemented next week. Finally, in the tool category, is the power sink. The power sink is a giant item that gets put onto the ground. It eats power from high voltage cables. If you shift click it, it'll say as connector for high voltage cables. So what you need to do is it comes anchored, so you need to unanchor it unless you bought it on a high voltage cable. You can actually pick it up and put it in your hand so you can move it around easily. And if I hook it up to this high voltage network, you'll see it start draining power. The power sink is draining 1,000 kilowatts. That is where it maxes out. If the station is generating this much power, it will actually blow up rather quickly. And the explosion on the power sink is absolutely incredible. When it gets discharged, it will literally leave a message to the entire station that scans have detected a rogue power-consuming device and it's becoming unstable. If you don't find it, it will keep growing. It makes incredibly scary sounds. And once it hits 100%, say goodbye to any department that's near. The power sink is awesome. Next up is the implanters. For 3 telecrystals, the EMP Implanter detonates a small EMP pulse that drains nearby electronics. I did show this one already, but I'll show it again. You purchase it, you inject it instantly. It is labeled as EMP Implanter. You'll get an action on the side, and if you use it, it just disrupts any electrical device nearby. It drains batteries. The Uplink Implanter. Stealthily order equipment without the need for a PDA. Swallow telecrystals to top up the uplink. If you inject yourself with it, on the side you'll just have a new uplink. It'll have no telecrystals, and you just have to eat telecrystals to put it into your uplink. So it's pretty much a hidden uplink that doesn't require your PDA to use. Freedom Implanter. Get away from those nasty sec officers with this 3-use implant. If you take it, inject it, you'll have a handcuff option, which is break free on the side. So if I get handcuffed by something like, anything. So if I zip tie myself real quick, as soon as you press the button, it'll snap the cables off or to break the handcuffs, and you'll be free to go, and you'll have 2 more uses. It's 3 uses total. The DNA Scrambler Implant is a single-use implant that can be used to activate to modify your DNA and give you a completely new look. If I inject myself, on the side you'll have this like Ling-looking icon. Press it. You become a totally different person. And yeah, it will change your name. My name is now Aubrey Cyprit. My original name was Eurus McCanns. It also comes with the ability to change back, but for whatever reason, I didn't get that, so I can't change back. I'm now just this person. Finally is a storage implanter. Costs 12 telecrystals. It is basically just a hidden storage that is 20 units big, so feel free to hide your Syndicate objectives in here. Now we move on to utility. The shoulder holster key. The shoulder holster is a 1 telecrystal purchase, deep shoulder holster capable of holding many types of ballistics that can only take things like bullets. So if I just get like a Cobra or something and I want to put... I can just put the Cobra in there. It holds 60 and it goes in your belt slot, so you can hold a lot of guns and ammo in a 60 storage belt. It's pretty strong for that. The only way you can even tell somebody has it is a few pixels or if somebody tries to strip you. Next up is a Syndicate encryption key. Sorry, Syndicate encryption keys. It comes with 2 encryption keys in a small box. You can stick it in your headset and give it to another Syndicate, and it lets you talk on the Syndicate channel. But due to the fact that it comes with 2, that means it's easier for security or somebody you don't want having it. Black Jetpack is a jetpack that allows you to fly around in space. Refills not included. Use your fuel wisely. It does come fully charged, and I'm not going to show you exactly how to use it. It's just a jetpack. If you're in space, you just press a button to use it, and you can't use it under gravity, even says so. It's just like every other jetpack in the game, but it's black. Agent ID card. Modified ID card that can copy accesses from other cards and change its name and job title at will. It looks like a passenger card. If you pick it up and press Z on it, you can change your name to whatever you want. You can change the job description whatever you want, and pick whatever icon you want. So if you're trying to fake out a security officer, you could just rename yourself Salvage or Cargo Technician, and then change your icon to the Cargo Tech, which is that. And if somebody like security happens to have a sec HUD, they will see your job icon in the top left of your head, and that will make them none the wiser as to your real affiliation. And like I said, or like the description says, it can copy IDs. So if there's a captain ID on the ground, you can literally just take out your ID and quickly left-click it, and now you'll have all access, and it will still be a hidden, conspicuous card. The Syndicate over-ear headset. Headset allows you to communicate with other Syndicate operatives, has 4 slots for encryption keys. I don't know why you would purchase this. This would be the one thing I don't know why exists. It instantly outs you, and yeah, sure, it comes with the Syndicate channel, but that's it. You can already buy that for 2 TC and get an extra one, and if you don't want the extra one, you can just throw it into space. So I don't really get the purpose of it. But anyways, it's a headset that lets you talk to syndicates. The Stealth Box, 5 telecrystal. Box outfitted with stealth technology. Sneak around with this and don't move too fast now. So it'll come in almost immediately stealth. If you press E on it to open it, you can get inside of it. If you don't move, you'll go almost completely invisible. There's still this waving shimmer effect though, and the more observant people will notice it. If you hold the walk key and move, it will never reveal you, but if you move too quickly, you'll start appearing, and you just stop moving to make that not happen. And when you get out of it, it will do the Metal Gear Solid alert to everyone nearby. Radio Jammer. This device will disrupt any nearby outgoing radio communication when activated. Pull it out, and you press C, the jammer is now on. It has a pretty large AoE to it. If I try to talk on the common radio, you actually don't get a message telling you that it's not working. You'll just, the only way you can really tell is by looking at the chat bar. But this is really useful if you don't want security to be able to contact each other near you, and it also is really useful if you're trying to kill someone and they're calling for help. It will prevent them from being able to do so, at least on the radio. The Hypo Pen. The chemical hypo spray disguised as a pen, capable of instantly ejecting 10 units of reagents, starts empty. It comes in a Hypo Pen box. Press C though, it becomes an inconspicuous pen to a degree. It always tells you if there's chemicals in it, so that is an instant giveaway, unfortunately. So on its own is completely useless, but if you were to get access to Nocturine, for example, which you saw earlier, you can just put 10 units of Nocturine into it, and it lets you almost instantly put somebody to sleep with it, because a Hypo Pen injects 5 units instantly per click with a half a second cooldown in between clicks. The Voice Mask. Gas mask lets you adjust the voice to whoever you can think of. Also has Chameleon technology. So it looks like a normal gas mask, but if you right click it, you can change it to look like basically any mask in the game. So if I want to have a fox mask, I could do so and put it on. Once you put it on the left, you can get an action that lets you change your name to whoever you want. So if I want to be Urist, Mick, I don't know, whatever like that, and I talk on the radio, or if I just talk in general or on the radio, anyone nearby will see me talking as Urist Mick, but without an agent ID card with the same name, it won't fool anyone, really. The Monkey Reinforcement Teleporter. It is a radio that goes on the ground. To activate it, you just press Z, it'll play a fart noise, and any ghost that sees it will be able to take it. It's a Syndicate monkey agent, and you're a trained monkey. A trained monkey, will help them, so if you just request it, you are indeed just a monkey with a cigarette, outlaw clothes, and the ability to do whatever your owner says. You're still just a monkey, though. EMAG. The EMAG has so many uses that it is actually really hard to... this thing really deserves its own video. The EMAG has 4 really good uses. It can instantly hack open doors you don't have access to. It can hack things like lace to allow you to produce bullets. It can hack cyborgs to make them obey only you. Or you can use it to do things like hack dispensers to get access to things like epinephrine on a click of a button, or ultravasculine, that type of thing. You can use it on vending machines like Shady Cigs Deluxe, and it will give you access to like Syndicate Smokes, for example, at the bottom. There are just so many machines that this would really need its own video, but otherwise it's basically an all-in-one hacking tool with a ridiculous amount of capability. It has 3 charges by default, and it takes 90 seconds to get the charges back. So it is basically an unlimited all-in-one lockpick. And I mean, the description even says it's an all-in-one hacking solution. Holoparasite Kit. Pride and Joy of Cybersun contains an ejector that hosts a sentient, metaphysical guardian made of hard light, which resides in the user's body when not active. Comes in a box, the Holoparasite box. Inside there's a terms and conditions. It's just kind of a joke. A hat referencing JoJo. And an injector. The injector is not instant, so don't just buy it, pop it out. And it has this creepy noise when you play it, and on the side you can summon your guardian, but it needs a ghost. The Holoparasite has a few stipulations. It can't go very far from the owner, more like around 3 tiles, but it punches incredibly fast, does a good bit of damage, and can even punch through walls in a relatively decent time. Not amazing, but it is a guardian attached to you, so it is multifaceted in that regard. However, any damage it takes will reflect to you, at least a percentage of it, so if your Holoparasite gets shot too many times, you will die. Finally, in the utility category is the Reinforcement Teleporter. It's just like the monkey teleporter. You press Z, plays a fart sound. Again, it goes under ghost rolls. As a Syndicate agent, someone needs reinforcements. If you request it, you will spawn instantly as this guy. You have no armor, but you will have a combat knife. You have a Viper in your backpack. And one thing that is useful is you do spawn with a pinpointer. So if you have a captain objective, it might not be a bad idea trying to buy a reinforcement to help you take down the captain, because they'll be able to lead you right to them. They also have very interesting names that out them instantly. They are not on the manifest, and they do not have IDs. Finally, the armor tab. No slip shoes. 2 telecrystal shoes that are chameleon shoes are protected from slips. By default, they just look like black shoes, and like the other chameleon stuff, you can just change into whatever you want. And they do indeed prevent you from slipping at all. So even with the most slippery stuff in the game, if I get space lube, open it up, throw it, you can walk straight over it like nothing is wrong. It is very, very powerful for 2 telecrystals. Syndicate EVA Bundle, a simple EVA suit that offers no protection other than what is needed to survive space. Inside, there is a Syndicate gas mask, which makes you immune to flashes, oxygen for it, and the suit and the helmet. So it's not like a hard suit. You have to put on each piece one at a time, but it only slows you down 20%, which is a decent amount, but it makes you space capable, and it doesn't slow you down nearly as bad as like a hard suit would. It's a very cheap purchase if you have no other way of getting EVA. Typically, I see this purchase most often when people are trying to bust somebody out of prison, and the fact that it comes with a flash-resistant mask, and it's also a weld-resistant mask, is pretty good on its own. Next up is the Web Vest. The Web Vest is a ridiculously tanky vest. It does 70% damage reduction to piercing, but it basically doesn't help you against heat or explosion. Also pretty good against blunt and slash. If you put it on, it takes up your exosuit slot. It actually does have storage in it, but it's only 10 units, so you can really only stick like a magazine or like a maybe like a bandage or something in it. But it makes you extraordinarily tanky. It doesn't slow you down at all, and will make you way tankier than anything else in the game against bullets except the Juggernaut suit, but that is up next. Thieving Gloves. Thieving Gloves are black gloves. They have nothing that gives them away. They're not even chameleon, so they can't be given away that. They can't even be given away through that. What they do is they let you strip items from people extraordinarily fast. Like, I can pull the captain's headset off in less than a second. And it doesn't warn the person that somebody's actually stealing from them. They'll still see the bar above your head, but it doesn't directly say, like, Eurus McCann's is stealing from you. Blood Red Mag Boots. Pair of boots that prevent slipping and in zero gravity allows you to move normally. They only prevent you from slipping, though, if you have them turned on. So let me put them on. So if you press the button that doesn't have anything in the corner, they will activate. It'll let you move this speed in no gravity, and you also can't slip, so they're very strong for that. They also function as a jetpack, but it barely has any fuel, so you might only be able to circle like half a station at best before you run out of fuel. So it's something worth to keep in mind, especially since it is 4 telecrystals. Chameleon Kit. Backpack full of items that contain chameleon technology, allowing you to disguise as pretty much anything on a station and more. It comes with 1 piece of clothing in every single category. The sunglasses aren't real, by the way. They don't protect you from flashes. But each piece lets you pick any type of look you want in the game. So you can try to disguise yourself as something. Like, you could disguise yourself as the head of security, but you might get caught for doing that. Or you can try to look like somebody you just killed identically. Or just pick things that you think look cool in general. I've seen this used to great effect. I've seen it used to not so great effect. It's really up to you to use it however you want. The Syndicate Hardsuit. Syndicate's well-known armored blood red hardsuit capable of spacewalks and bullet resistant. Inside, there is the gas mask, combat gloves, which is fantastic. Blood red hardsuit stats are rather good. It's basically a 50% reduction to everything. The helmet is only about 10. It only does 10% resistances to the common damage types, no extra explosion resistance. It only slows you down 10%, so less than the Syndicate EVA suit, which is interesting, but it costs a lot more. It also has a light on it, a green light, and it makes you immune to space damage. The Cybersun Juggernaut suit is a 4 more telecrystal purchase in the Blood Red, hyper-resilient armor. The defenses of this are just absolutely insane. It's basically 80% resistance to everything instead of the Blood Red's 50, but it makes you move 35% slower instead of just 10. The helmet also does not have a light built in, but it is still EVA resistant, and you really do feel the movement speed difference quite a lot, but you are a walking tank in this thing. However, it doesn't come with the mask or the combat gloves, so I think that makes it slightly less appealing. Finally, the pointless tab. I won't cover anything in here specifically. These items are pretty much pointless. The operative jumpsuit is interesting because it doesn't have trackers, so you're always off the grid in this thing. You can't turn your tracker on, so that does have some minor use. Same with the operative jumpsuit. Everything else is purely cosmetic. I feel like the clown costume might have a use because you could disguise yourself as a clown, and it actually does come with a clown PDA with a clown ID, and you can slip on the PDA, so it's kind of like buying a slip. So this one isn't entirely useless. It also comes with a service headset too, so that is possibly worth mentioning. And the only other thing on the pointless tab that might have use is the Syndicate PAI, because the Syndicate PAI can actually talk on the Syndicate channels, but your PAI is more likely to screw you than help you. So that's probably why it's under the pointless tab. That's everything. My voice is gone. I was talking for basically an hour straight. There is a shit ton of Syndicate items in this game. I will do a part 2 that explains all of the nukie items and job-specific items together, because they're kind of... I consider nukies job-specific as well. But that's all I got for now. This is over an hour of recording, so this is going to be fun to edit. Thank you for watching.